All right, guys, let me give you these 5 tips so we could get to the money bag at the artist markets. Let's get to the money. Hey guys, this is Mia with The Planted Life. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 tips for creative people at artist markets. It's the holiday season, and a lot of people who are creative are going to be participating in artist markets, from pottery to painting, jewelry, woodworking, other cool things. This is the season, the fourth quarter push for you to make the last bucks for your fiscal year. So with that, I want to give you 5 tips for creative people at artist markets specifically. If you're interested, stay tuned. Let's get into it. So the very first thing whenever you're participating in an artist market is to curate your table. Do not overload your table. People often shop with their eyes first, and a cluttered table feels a little bit overwhelming to a viewer. A curated table feels more inviting and put together, and it also gives your pieces a little bit of room to breathe so that each body of work can be appreciated or given its just due. Typically, you group items in like threes. You could use height, you could use small risers and things. It's also good to stick to a simple color palette if at all possible. The second tip for creative people at an artist market is to tell the story behind your work. Customers often buy emotionally, and they want to be able to connect with the artist. So it's good to have maybe 1 or 2 short stories about the inspiration behind a particular piece or a body of work, and oftentimes that can assist in getting a buyer to buy into you, right? So for example, with my pottery, I typically of late have been trying to include my artist statement. I found that an artist statement resonates with the viewer because they can see where you're coming from, they see the intention behind your work, or they understand your perspective. You might have a unique perspective that lends to your work. So telling the story behind your work, it's very important. The third tip for a creative person at artist market is pricing your work with confidence. Okay, I hate selling personally, but in order for you to be a viable business, you have to make sales. Don't make people guess what your pricing points are. Take into account your time or your labor, your materials, your skill, your total cost. You have to take into account your total cost for you to produce a particular item. If you're not confident about your prices, neither will your customer. This past artist market that I did, I felt confident about my pricing points, and I only discounted the pricing on the last day of the sale for particular items that I was really trying to move. I also had a red bin sale, which included kind of like pottery seconds or things that I did not anticipate would come out the way that they did, but they were still good enough to sell. So if you're confident about your pricing point, your customer will be as well. And then they won't have a problem paying what your pricing point is. But put that price on there with confidence. Go ahead, big yourself up, get that money. Get that money. Get that money. The fourth tip for a creative person at an artist market is to bring something that's a conversation starter. Now, this can be a piece that's on your table that you're selling. This can be maybe something quirky that you wear, or maybe it's a thing that you do at your station. That might include a signature piece, maybe a process photograph, or maybe your tools. What else? Maybe a piece of raw clay, or even a small demonstration that might make your exhibit a little bit more interactive. One thing that I did this go round was I included video footage of raw video footage of me wheel throwing. I thought that would make my exhibit a little bit more interactive, and I was glad that I did that. The only thing that I wished I had was a thing to actually prop up my tablet. Ultimately, my tablet ran out of power because I didn't have a power source, but that was okay because it served the purpose that I think it intended to when people, when the majority of the people were, there at the pottery event. So my objective was achieved because I felt that was a conversation starter. Conversely, since I am still rather newer to ceramics, I find it a little daunting to talk to customers about my actual process because I don't know all the technical lingo as of yet for ceramics. I'm learning, I'm a quick study on things, but you know, I don't necessarily want to get into technical process conversations about my work. I'm more comfortable with talking about what brought me to ceramics or my educational background that lends to being artsy and into arts and things. So yeah, it's good to have a conversation starter, if you will, to generate interest at your table. Fifth and final tip for creative people at artist markets is to protect your energy. During a long day at an artist market, you have to protect your energy. That may include taking breaks, making sure that you're hydrated, making sure that you do self care and take your bathroom breaks. Maybe you've had too many conversations with people. Now you're on people overload. If you're anticipating a busy day, maybe it might be a good or positive thing for you to have a secondary person there with you that, if in the event that you need to go to the restroom, that will be able to be stationed at your table and be able to generally greet your customers that might walk up and have questions. A lot of times artists are a little bit more introverted, so the whole concept of an artist market, especially if you have to be present during your artist market, you're going to typically expend a little bit more social energy than you might be used to on a normal basis. So you have to definitely protect your energy. That way you can make sure that you're centered and that your actions or interactions with other people are like a little bit richer. You got to make sure that you wear something comfortable where you feel good and that you feel confident in. That way you're not worried about your appearance or anything like that. But because you're going to be interacting with a lot of different personalities throughout the day and a lot of potential customers. And the last thing that you want is for you to be running on fumes hours into your event that might be a weekend long because you chose the incorrect thing to wear or because you are not self-caring. So yeah, that's one thing that I think will be a positive thing. Okay, that was 5 tips for creative people at artist market. If you found these tips helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more pottery creativity and content that has worked for me currently or in the past. Also, let me know in the comments what types of markets that you're doing or what types of markets have you participated in the past. Let's get a dialogue going. Other than that, thanks for watching and see you soon.